Very good. Happy morning, all. Very good. How are you today? Good morning, afternoon, good evening. How you guys doing? I'm doing kind of okay. I'm doing well this morning. Yesterday I had a rubbish day, absolute rubbish day. So yesterday was Sunday, today's Monday, and yesterday was the day that I was meant to carry on with the fourth part of the stroke that I suffered in 2020. But I didn't because I had such a low day yesterday, and I thought instead of punching myself over it, so leave it, record it tomorrow. So here I am today. By the way, do you like my surprise on Saturday? It was my 5-year anniversary since I suffered a stroke, and that is such a huge milestone in terms of medical reasons. Honestly, it is. I won't go into it today because today is all about what happened 5 years ago. Yes. By the way, if you notice, I just noticed before I record this video because I want to check where I left the story at last week. So I thought, oh my god, I'm actually wearing the same outfit. I'm wearing the same outfit. As I said to you guys, I had 3 or 4 outfits and I rotate them because I don't like to damage my clothes, because this I can wipe my hands on it when I'm cooking. I don't worry about while we're at home. I can go to the shop. These are decent. I'm not gonna lie, these are decent. This one is really old. I mean, this one has even got some holes in it on the legs somewhere, but it's still decent to wear. I can run to the shop very quickly. I can come home. I can see. I don't have to worry about damaging them at all. They're really cheap as well. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. Yeah, let's start with part 4 of the stroke. So last time I left, when I arrived in Portugal, my cousin picked me up at the airport. I had to put the most bravest face on. I couldn't really walk properly, but I had to make myself walk as well as possible. Oh, by the way, the weather is beautiful today. Can you see the sun? It's really hot in here actually. The windows are open. Digressed again. By the guys who just joined me, I always digress. Halfway I'm talking about something, halfway a word, something comes to my mind and I go on a completely different tangent. So yeah, my cousin picked me up at the airport. Here I'm walking as brave and as sturdy as possible because honestly I was so weak. Not just weak mentally, weak physically, and also the right side of my body was not, as you as you can probably guess, it was not in a good state at all. But I had to do it because at that moment it wasn't just about proving myself how well I was not well at all. By the way, I was not well at all. It was not just about proving myself to the world how well I was. It was also about proving myself. So did I say? Yeah. So it wasn't just about proving myself to myself how well I was, how strong I was, that I was unbeatable. It's also about proving to the outside world. So I couldn't bear, still to this date, I cannot bear the world to see me, at least to see me as if I'm weak. If you can come with me on this. So yeah, so I met with my cousin. He came and hugged me. Obviously I think a bit choked up. I could feel a bit of tear coming, my eyes getting watered, but I said no, get strong, don't do anything. My cousin picked me up. I stayed with her at her house, which, by the way, she was wonderful, absolutely the best. She gave me so much support. Even before I arrived in Portugal, all the appointments that I had with the doctor in Portugal, with all the doctors in in a clinic already made. She phoned all different private clinics. This is in Lisbon, by the way, central Lisbon, city centre of Lisbon. So she phoned all the best private clinics in Lisbon, and she booked me with the one that had the quickest and most available appointment. So yes, I was there. By the way, in Portugal at that time, the quarantine was so much stricter in the UK. So unbelievably strict, so strict. And it was like they used to, it was so silly. I don't understand what difference that would have made. So essentially from maybe 8-9 o'clock in the evening, or even later, I can't recall really well, on a Friday, the whole weekend quarantine kicked in. So obviously that's after the full lockdown, when people weren't allowed to leave the house at all, 24/7. I'm just talking about that time. Even thinking about, I cannot believe that people went through this silliness, and some people are still going through. Some people, if you do the same, some people still lock themselves in. They I'm sorry, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't get how some people they just don't use their brain. You know, has the government ever cared about their people? Is there a single government in the world that cares about us? No, there is not. It's all about chinking, making the money. So yeah, so that time she picked. I don't remember what day of the week I arrived, but all I remember when I arrived, there was a weekend long quarantine. Every weekend, people would have to, I'm not sure, 8-9 o'clock in the evening, even later, would not allow to leave their houses at all. And then they'll be allowed again to leave their houses as on Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. Does this make any sense to anybody? So apparently the virus only so apparently the virus be asleep, completely asleep, from Monday to Friday. Sleep, go to bed. Friday 6 o'clock, go to bed, virus goes to bed. So Monday 6 o'clock, the virus goes to bed. 6 o'clock in the morning. Friday between 8 and 9 o'clock, the virus wakes up. It's time to party, so nobody allowed to wander around in the streets. But again, here I digress. So I remember that one. That's the first thing that shocked me when I arrived. And then obviously 2020, everybody's still wearing masks on the streets, etc. I'm gonna say right now, I did not wear a mask even once, not even in Portugal. I didn't. My cousin's like, oh, you have to wear a mask in Portugal because the police officer will stop you in the street. I said, we'll see. If they stop you in the street, then I put a mask on. They looked at me, they didn't even say anything. They didn't, because I believe even the police officers, they didn't believe in this BS that they were made to go through. They didn't believe this BS. They had to police people in something which just, maybe it's me as being ignorant and wrong in this topic. So yeah, so I digressed again. Have you noticed that? Yes, I did digress again. So yeah, so I arrived at her house, and then another thing, when I met at the airport, my mind still wasn't there, and my mind wasn't there for a while. To be honest, I feel that my mind isn't there. Honestly, I still feel that. You know, I tell you what, this weekend that just gone, I'm celebrating my 5 years anniversary. Friday and Saturday, I felt that my mind wasn't quite right. And that happens sometimes when I mishear things, I missay things, I don't say things in a way, I mix the words. For example, you say, instead of me saying can you please go and do that? Obviously I'm making this up. I just using the simplest phrase. Can you please go and do that? I'll say, can you please do that? Can you please go and do that? I'll say, can you go do that, please? Something really strange. I'll mix the words, and my brain doesn't compute that, and that happens sometimes, you know. And yeah, so when I met my cousin at the airport, my brain was really fuzzy. My speech, everything was still in a completely awful state. Obviously, me putting this brave face on, this brave persona. Inside me, I was crippling like anything, you know. And by the way, it was good I stopped taking all that medicine that I was prescribed in the UK at the hospital. So I arrived at home. Her auntie from her mum's side was staying there, and so was also her cousin from her mum's side was staying there. All the rest of her family, parents, siblings, husband, they were all in Angola at the time. She just went to Portugal. What was it for? I don't remember why she went to Portugal for. I think we'll just sort out a few things. So the four of us were there. Her auntie used to sleep with her in her bedroom. But I said, I'll sleep in the living room. You two sleep in the bed, because she said I needed more rest. I needed more like better care. So yeah, so I didn't speak very much. I stayed up for maybe 1 or 2 hours. What time did I arrive? I think I don't remember actually. I remember when I arrived was daytime, and that being that was, I said I did arrive maybe beginning of December, wasn't it? I don't remember the days very well. Beginning of December, end of November. Now I think it was, it was beginning of December, because my husband went away with work a couple of days before I had the stroke, and I had the stroke 27th of September, and he stayed away exactly for a month. So he returned the 27th of October. He stayed with me for 1 or 2 weeks, something like that. So yeah, so no, he said more than 2 weeks. No, yeah. So it was beginning of December when I was there. It was because he actually stayed away for more than a month. I don't remember, but I don't remember how long he stayed away for. But I remember me going to Portugal end of November, beginning of December. So I'm just trying to remember facts, because that was 5 years ago. As you can probably understand, the dates haven't really been fixed in my mind. I'm sure nobody remembers the dates exactly of what happens 5 years ago. So many people don't even remember what happens last week, let alone 5 years ago. Yeah, so where was I at? That's the problem. When I digress, I forget the point where I left. So yeah, I remember it was still daytime. Yes, that's where I left. It was still daytime, and so it must have been around, because it was December, end of November, beginning of December. It must have been around 2 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock, and then I didn't stay up very much because I was always exhausted. I just want to sleep the whole time. My energy was so low. Not just the energy being low, also my body wanted to recover as much as possible and as quick as possible, honestly. And talking about the body recovering, if somebody, an advice to everybody's listening to this, is watching me, if you have anybody who has a stroke around you, especially for the first month, if they just want to sleep, let them sleep. Do not wake them up. Please don't wake them up. Because I remember within the first month of me recovery, my first month of recovery, I'm not sure which word to use. It got to a point, my aunties used to wake me up, and I understand why they did that, because they worried about me, because I wasn't eating. I just want to sleep. So if it'd be me having read, having learned, having learned what I've read, I wouldn't let me sleep as much as I wanted, because if I'd been hungry, I'll wake up and eat, because at the end I wasn't using much energy. So that's I thought to tell you this because I saw some way or other that may have affected my recovery, because I kept being wake up, you have to eat, you have to come downstairs. That's bad, because that was interrupting the brain connections. I used to be deep asleep. I wouldn't hear a single thing. I'm a light sleeper. If you drop a pin downstairs in the kitchen, I'll hear it in our bedroom on the other side. That's how much of a light sleeper I am. I'm not deep sleep at all. Anything wakes me up. I'm such a light sleeper. And then at the time, that within that month, even for many months, not for many months, no, actually, no, just within that month. And I'll tell you that in a bit. Maybe not. I don't think I'm going to get to tell you today. It's going to be perhaps next week or the week after, where I'm going to tell you about my sleeping issues once I suffered a stroke. So yeah, just allow them to sleep as much as they can, as much as they want, because that's number one. That's number one medicine for recovery. So here I am at my cousin's house again. Went back in Portugal again, so I chatted up for a bit, even though to me it was still all noise around, just around me, all noise, nothing else. And then yeah, so yeah, I'm just trying. So I stopped for a minute because I'm trying to go back and remember. I had 2 hours sleep, and no, sorry, I stayed up for 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours, and I went to bed immediately. And I woke up the next morning because I had a doctor's appointment the next morning. And again, my cousin was absolutely a gem. She took me around everywhere. So yeah, first appointment with the doctor, because you go to a private clinic, you get seen by the general practitioner first. And this doctor, I mean, some doctors, they think they're god and goddesses put on this earth, and to me they're nothing else that I'm not going to go into it. She's a bit arrogant. And I took her the medicine that I've taken all the medicines. I said, listen, I believe in this and that medicine. I stopped taking them because I don't think I need them. Especially this cholesterol, I don't think I need it. I don't need it. And she said, what makes you think you can't take? Are you a doctor or something? How do you know I'm not a doctor? Maybe I'm a doctor. You don't know about me. And how have you even analyzed me to see what issues I've got? And then I said, because I was so stunned at the time. To be honest, I'm not somebody who answers back immediately. I'm somebody who thinks about it. And sometimes I miss that moment when somebody says something rude or bad to you. I'm somebody who misses the moment anyway, because I'm not confrontational at all. I'm not a confrontational person at all. So anyway, she said, I'm gonna pass you on to this neurologist, and you're gonna have to come and see him tomorrow. So she made an appointment for me to see immediately the next day, which I'm gonna give that to her. She was amazing, which then apparently I found out later on, he was the best. He is still to this day. He is the best neurologist of all of Portugal. He's not even a doctor. His initial's not a doctor. His initial is professor. He's a professor of medicine, of neurology. That was amazing. So when I told I went outside the doctor's office, my cousin said, how do you go? I told the conversation that I had this general practitioner. She was, my cousin got so furious about it. Oh, what? And she knows about your cholesterol? Does she? My cousin just went off on one and said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So let's just ignore She booked me an appointment with a neurologist. That's all I want. That's all I want. Let's forget about it. She's in the past. That I just wanted her to book me an appointment with a neurologist. So next morning, I saw the neurologist. Same thing again. This is, if you remember in the last video, the conversation, I said I had a conversation with the neurologist in Portugal. He said you don't need to take this, you don't need to take that. Exactly. So I'm gonna calm down because I know I'm speaking too fast, and when I speak too fast, I know that's when I start mangling the words. And I suppose when you tone down your voice and you speak slower, people tend to compute a lot better what one is saying. So I'm gonna calm down and make my voice lower, my tone lower. So the following day, my appointment with my neurologist, and by the way, I'm paying for every single appointment that I'm having at that time. In total, I spent £20,000 in just appointments and tests and everything like that. And I know for those who are in US, that's nothing. I know for those in US, that's just a price of a tablet, whatever. But I like to remind you, it is not the same in Europe, because in Europe we've got this great public health care that we as workers contribute towards it every month as part of our taxes. Even those who don't work, but they're residents of this country, British, Portuguese, whatever, if you were resident of this country, you still have the benefit of using the public health system. So, and the public health system is great in Europe. Obviously, it's been decaying a lot in the last few years, and I've noticed that myself. So, for example, I've been in UK for how long now? 30 years. 30 years I've been in UK, and I've noticed a decay in the public health care from then to now, because I'm sorry, even though I'm a foreigner, I live in this country, I'm a foreigner, and I've noticed the negative impact of those who move to Europe. They take away, they don't really work. They just take away. Also, those that come to work, but they just don't come by themselves. They bring their children, their wives, their grandmother, their aunts. They bring a whole load of family. Just one person to support the household. And also, not just that, the fact, it's not even just the fact of those that contribute by paying taxes, it's also by the quality of doctors and nurses in the medical healthcare. It has been damaged by a lot, again, because the way that people are trained in different countries is not at the same standard of those that train in Europe. It's not even just the standard. They don't have the same empathy of those European peers. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Accept or not, I've noticed that myself. So yeah, where else I had to get? I lost track. So yeah, so those who are in US, you think, right, £20,000 is nothing. That's what I pay in my health insurance every year. That's not the same in Europe at all. In Europe, we pay our taxes on a monthly basis, whether you use it or not, the medical care, the medical health system, you pay that every month. I'm sure it's the same with insurance, isn't it? So never mind. So yeah, in total, I spent about £20,000 in appointment tests, everything like that. That's money that I've been saving for a while, because I've been saving that money for how long? For 4.5 years. That was my savings. That's the second time I managed to save a good amount of money, and just poof, disappeared in the air, just like that. Before that, I managed to save £30,000, equivalent of £30,000. That's when I worked in Africa, in Angola. I was so strict, I was so disciplined with saving the money, but I wasn't able to transfer that money back to the UK. I was not at all. So, because the country wasn't allowing for people to transfer the money, the hard working money, to the country they're going to live or move to. Anyway, England has always been my home from the age of 15. My husband is English, so I worked and I paid my tax in that country, so they saved my money. That money now is probably worth, like, if so, £1,000, from 30k to £1,000, because the national money, the national coin has decreased so much in value. Anyway, forget about it. I digress again. I'm talking about money when I should be talking about the stroke. So yeah, so I had a first appointment with my neurologist, and then I presented him with all the prescriptions that I was given in the UK. So I went through, obviously I went through as much as I could remember how I suffered the stroke, and as much as I could remember how I suffered the stroke, he was noting all down, and then I said, this is the prescription that's given to me by the neurologist in the UK. And he went through the prescription. I said, by the way, I stopped taking all of this apart from bar one, that's the only one. And I said, I didn't stop taking this one because this one is the blood thinner. So there were 3 other prescriptions. Honestly, there are 4 of them. One is the blood thinner. I don't remember the 3 other ones. I remember one's for cholesterol. I think that's the statin. I don't remember. And he went through of them and he looked at me. Are people mad in UK? Why did they give you all of this? Number one, even if they're giving the statin, the strength of the statin they've given you is insane. That's the strength they should prescribe to somebody, a man who's big in size, who's probably old, and their heart is about to be dropped. They've got so much cholesterol. You don't have any of this. Just look at you. You're so small. Even if you have any problems with cholesterol, you should not be given this. That's too strong for you, number one. And then you went through each one of them. And I said, what about blood thinner? Do I still need to take this blood thinner? Because this one here, I read online. I'm not convinced that's good enough for me, because I looked at the side effects. Okay, it may not cause stomach ulcer like aspirin. One of the side effects of aspirin, if you don't take it well, you have the risk of having stomach ulcers. But even aspirin these days, I believe they've changed what's it called, what's it called? Oh my god, I just forget simple words sometimes. Not the ingredients, the formulation. Yes, I believe they've changed the formulation. Don't write what I'm saying. Maybe they haven't changed the formulations, but anyway, I believe they've changed the formulations, the formulation of aspirin. So the side effects of causing stomach ulcers is not as high as it used to be in the past. So aspirins are not as harsh aspirin is not as harsh as it used to be. So I said, do I need to take this blood thinner? He said, no, I can prescribe aspirin if you want. I said, amazing, because I don't trust any of these prescriptions that Dr. UK gave me, and I went through the side effects that was giving me. You know, me walking around like a 90-year-old. Honestly, I wish I was like, I was walking like this. My memories was disappearing. I had such a bad memory that time when I was taking that medicine, those medicines the doctors in UK gave me. Um, so bad, such a bad time. Just even looking back, it was awful. You know, I felt like I was beaten down. I couldn't stand up properly. By the way, the what do you call the what do you call these purple marks in your body? What's it called again? Oh my god! Remember. Those when somebody hits you and it causes these purple marks in your skin. They go purple, and as you get better, it starts to turn black. Remember, I don't remember, but I hope that you know what I mean. Please remember what. Please, I hope you do remember what I mean. So, honestly, I was covered with those around there, all over there, all over my leg, on my back, on my arms. It was so bad. It was so bad. My husband was so concerned about me. He said, Salvia, this blood thinner is really concerning me, because what this is got a sign that perhaps you might be bleeding internally, you know. And that's what I went through with the doctor. I showed him these bruises. Yes, there you go. That's what happens in my mind. I forget one second, the next second just comes back. So I showed the bruises on my body, and he was like, yep, I can see exactly what you mean, and I'm going to stop you that immediately. Because again, if you were to take this blood thinner, you should be taking a quarter of the strength that doctors in UK have given you. Because I can understand your concern, because look how many bruises, and the bruises are massive. Honestly, I wouldn't even hit anything with my body, because I'm just lying down most of the time. So the bruises would just appear out of nowhere. So yeah, the biologist in Portugal told me I did well to stop all those the medicine that I stopped taking. He stopped that blood thinner. Instead, he prescribed 100 milligrams of aspirin. I know in UK that you can't buy 100 milligrams of aspirin. And by the way, what I'm telling you right now, that's what worked for me. I'm not saying they should be doing the same. Please don't. Don't do the same as me. Please don't. Yeah, so you feel you should do what's right for you. If you feel if whatever your doctor prescribed, just take it. Please don't go with what I'm saying. Please don't, because especially if you take if you have been taking that medicine for a while, and if you stop taking, all of a sudden your body could go through such a bad withdrawal state, so you can end up in a hospital in a coma. Yeah, please listen to me. The only reason I was able to stop the medicine that's prescribed for me, because it only been like a few weeks in. If it hadn't been, I had to be, is the wind down? Is it when, you know, when you what's that word, when you want the babies to stop sucking the dummies or whatever? There's a word for it, isn't there? I don't remember. Wind down, don't know. One of those two words, maybe even a different one. I'm trying to remember the word I'm trying to use. So yeah, so I went through a whole load of my neurologist asked me a question, which to me, that's the only thing I did not agree with him. He asked me whether there had been anybody in my family suffered strokes. I said yes. My uncle, my dad's brother, and my grandmother's brother also. But I said to him, I believe perhaps my grandmother's brother, so my great uncle, was age related because he was early 80s, I believe. Late 80s, beginning of 90s. No, oh my God. See, this is what I mean when I say words and my brain is all mangled up. It doesn't order the words properly. So he suffered a stroke in his late 80s, early 90s. So I thought perhaps it's age related, even though there's so many people at that age that live through no problem. But there's something that always gonna take us away when we reach that age. It could be strokes, it could be stomach cancer. For example, my husband's granddad passed away last year, July last year, from stomach cancer. He was in his late 80s. So there's always some reason or other, illness, that's going to take us away when we reach that age. So to me, that was an age-related stroke. And I tell you why, I'll tell you in a minute why I don't agree with what the neurologist told me at the time. So I told my auntie, my uncle, my great uncle as well, my uncle from my dad's, everything from my dad's side of the family. And I've got to tell you something I found out recently. Apparently my mum has also had a stroke recently. After I had a stroke, maybe 3 years ago, my sister informed me of this anyway. But I didn't even bother to phone her because she didn't even contact me when I suffered the stroke. So that's the sort of parents I have. I digress again. I just want to make that point because perhaps you say, well, how come you don't know when your mom had a stroke? You don't care about it? No, I don't. Honestly, God may not forgive me for my way of thinking, but I hope he understands because my parents never cared about me, not even once, you know. They never phoned me to see how I'm doing, financially, mentally, my health, nothing. So I had suffered a stroke earlier than my mum suffered the stroke. She didn't even phone me. Okay, she knows she's not allowed. It's not that she's not allowed to phone me, but she has she hasn't got my contact. But perhaps she could have told my sister. Tell your sister, I hope she's okay. I'm praying for her. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah, the conversation I have with my neurologist, I tell you why I don't agree with him. He said, well, these people are too far away from your genetic bloodline. How is it? How is that? For example, my uncle is my dad's brother. How is that genetically too far away? That doesn't make any sense to me. Who else could have been? My mom, my sister, my brother, my dad? No. Those are the same lineage. He's the same lineage as my dad, same lineage as me. And also, my grandmother's brother, same lineage as me. It may be 2 generations above me and a bit to the side because he wasn't my granddad, but he was my great uncle, so my grandmother's brother. So he said that they're 2 genetic away from you, so he couldn't connect my stroke with that in my family. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with this assessment. So anyway, so he put me on genetic test. Nothing came through to say I was my stroke was caused by my genetics. I went through so many tests. Now, they did a scan of my brain. Ooh, did I tell you that in UK? So I need to go back, maybe two videos ago. I'm not sure that I told you this. In UK, when they scanned my brain, they found an aneurysm. An aneurysm is when the one of the veins in your brain is bent and it causes blood to accumulate there. And if the blood doesn't go through, it will burst. So that's why it's called aneurysm. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's the bend is called aneurysm or when the blood bursts. No, that's called an aneurysm, and when it bursts, it's a stroke. Yeah, so in UK, they found that aneurysm on my brain. Please, that's not the term. Please correct me. Comment down below. They found an aneurysm, and they said they made an appointment with a different hospital, a specialist hospital in Cambridge, and I should have had that appointment within 3 months of me having left the hospital. To this date, I still haven't been called to go to an appointment in Cambridge, the Cambridge hospital. That's how much the healthcare in UK is degrading, right? So so they did a scan of my brain. Actually, the doctor went through the results. The results of that. I took everything to him in UK that got given in UK. So he went through the results. Say okay, and then I said to him, "What about the aneurysm that's in my brain?" He said, "Okay, we can't. There's nothing we can do. All we can do at the moment is keep an eye on it." I said, "Okay. Obviously, that's still worry number one. Okay, worry number one is the fact that I had the stroke. Worry number two is the fact that I could have a second stroke. Worry number three is this aneurysm. Now there's worry number four." And when I was told about worry number four, I thought to myself, I'm not going to make past this year. We were in November, end of November, beginning of December. I said, no, not this year. I think I said, I'm not going to go past next year, 2021. And I made my cousin cry so much. She said, please don't say that. Don't say that to anybody. Because there's so many things I was being told that was wrong with me. So I'll tell you what worry number four was. Worry number four was the fact that they did this test. They put this, is it an endoscope? They put a camera down in your throat and you look at your heart, because I was doing every single test known to man. Every single test known to man. They put this endoscope down my throat, and the person, the technician at the hospital, it was so extremely unprofessional, right? He's dealing with a stroke patient, which I would hope he would have understood I was under this immense amount of stress. I was feeling depressed, I was feeling down, I was feeling everything on earth. And he said, As you go to the camera, honestly, making these words like, oof. I was lying in bed with his camera down my throat. Obviously, I said, what's going on here? What is going on here? And he finished with the camera down my throat, looking at my heart, everything like that. I said, what's going on? I said, well, I believe what causes a stroke. I said, what? There's this reason that young people like yourself have strokes, because there's something, their valve doesn't close and open properly. There's a fault with your valve. I feel that's what I can see in the camera. I said, really? What is that got to do? Oh, you're gonna have to have an operation. I said, how bad is the operation? Oh, don't, not as bad as it used to be back in the day. I think we just have to be so essentially it's not about it wasn't about opening the heart anymore. I think it is put a hole there, they put some, so essentially the tools are just this fine rope, and they go down your mouth, down your throat to your heart, and also they insert some holes in there That's how they operate these days. And that's how he explained to me. He said, I'm sorry, but and I thought, I was so frightened. So frightened, right? And he said, but the doctor's going to speak to you properly tomorrow. So you meant my neurologist is going to go through all the information with me. And I said, okay. I left that office, I left that room petrified. So petrified. My energy was already low, so low. My energy went to honestly went to minus 100. It so much went to minus 100 because I thought myself, I don't know why I didn't throw myself in front of a car, because I would have ruined somebody else's life, because I was prepared to end my life right there and then, because I didn't want to go through that that pain, that headache. I didn't want those that love me all around me to put up with me, with my illnesses, with my disease, with my disabilities. I did not want any of that. And then I got given that news as well, that I had to be operated in my heart. So my cousin picked me up and she said, what's wrong? What did you tell? I said, can I speak to you when we get home? So I just cried the whole trip home. By the way, at the time I was having 2 appointments, one in the morning, one in the evening. So one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Some of them late in the evening. So this one I had at 8 o'clock in the evening, because that was the only availability that they had. So I said, oh, can I speak to you when you get home? Yes. I didn't speak to her that evening. I said, I can't speak to you today. I'll speak to you tomorrow. And then I went to see my neurologist. These results are unclear. So we're gonna go through an even more detailed test. I don't remember what detailed test was. I think the machine. I don't remember. I had so many tests. I don't remember. So I took these results from my neurologist. I can't really see what the technician told you in these results here, because the results are unclear. Which, by the way, I was already talking about how much will this operation cost me. My mind was going 150 miles an hour. I had so many questions. I just bombarding, as I hope you can understand. I was bombarding the neurologist with so many questions. He said, calm down. I can't be assertive of anything right now. So I can't be certain, I can't be certain of anything right now. So there's no point of me giving you information that may be false. And he also said, to be honest, that technician shouldn't have said anything to you. He shouldn't have reacted in such a way. It should be neutral, because that would have impacted, as it clearly has impacted you a lot. So he said, I can't be certain of what this result is telling you, is saying right now. So anyway, I'm going to book another appointment for you to go through a more detailed appointment. Like I said, I don't remember what the detailed appointment was. So by the way, I've already said it now. I did a DNA result, came through as nothing related to my DNA. I've also spoke to him about having high blood pressure. He said, again, I was so confused with the things that neurologist told me. I said, by the way, he said, I have no issues with high blood pressure. I said, could the stroke been caused by stress? He said, it's not stress that causes strokes. I said, wow, there's so many doctors and people saying stress causes strokes, tell them to cause strokes. No, stress causes high blood pressure, high blood pressure causes strokes. Okay, I understand that, but At the same time, a simple person like me, it could be stressed. So he said, I had no issues of high blood pressure, no DNA, no cholesterol. There was nothing in me. And he told me this before I did this test. They put that tube with the camera down my throat. There's nothing in me that would, he could put there with a pen, put a circle around the pen. This is what causes stroke. Nothing at all. And that's why I went through. He said, there's one more thing. There's one more test that I'm going to ask you to do. By the way, by that time, my bank account was going down, down, down. There's one more test I'd like you to do. And that'll be the final test to perhaps to give us the answer why he had the stroke. Because I tick all the boxes, nothing. And they said, oh, it could have been COVID. I said, well, when I went to hospital, they did me a COVID test. It came back negative. It's okay, it's not COVID as well. And then, so it wasn't COVID. And then he also said, what was it? He asked me so many questions. No, it's not this, not that. We did a test, your weight, your body, your fat. He did, essentially your physiognomy is as perfect as it can be. Actually, your physiognomy is a lot better than some people in their mid-20s. So there's nothing that we can see in your results that would cause you to have that stroke. So I was relieved about that. Because like I said, I used to be an absolute gym bunny. I still am. I've stopped for a bit. I haven't really been to the gym since beginning of July. I haven't. But I still go for my long walks, which I'm going to go today as well. I just go every day. I didn't go yesterday. I've noticed I'm speaking fast again. I need to tone down. Ooh, and I need to speak slower. Yes. So he said to me, there's one final test I'm going to ask you to do. And by the way, by the time we got to this test, we had already been in Portugal 3 weeks, test after test after test after test. One morning, one evening, then go and collect the results, take it to the neurologist, paying for every single appointment. And then, and then he said, I cannot say, this test is inconclusive. So we have to do another one, which is looks at your so I think I had to go through this machine again. Oh my god, I went through so many machines, and said so many things, so many purple things, so many things in my body, so many things. So she said, there's this test that's gonna tell us whether you've got a problem with your heart or not. I said, why did you not tell me to go through this test, go through this machine first? He explained to me it's a machine to go through. He said, well, because this machine, thing is, it's it can actually be extremely damaged in your body. So that's our last resource, because essentially he sends like is it called some what is it called, nuclear frequency or something to your body. So it's really intense. So if you go through this test, you are actually risking your body to have cancer. It can cause all sorts of illnesses. So that machine is their last resource. So I said, okay, right, let's do that then. So he made an appointment for me to go through this machine the following day. I went home after the appointment with my neurologist. My cousin's like, what's up? Are you going to tell me now? I said, well, I've got heart problem. My neurologist hadn't confirmed me at that time that I had a heart problem in my heart. It was the bloody technician that put things in my brain. But I'd already accepted before receiving the final result. So If that technician hasn't said anything, at least it would give me, those 2 days of not worrying about an extra thing. I said, well, I've got a heart problem and I'm going to have to be operated. And I said, I've had enough. I've got so many problems in my health. I've got the aneurysm that could explode in my mind at any moment. If I didn't die of a stroke this time around, it's definitely going to kill me this time. If it's not the aneurysm it's going to be the heart problem. Perhaps I'm going to die in the operating table. Yep. That's what I said to her. If not the heart problem, if I'm not operated, I'm going to have another stroke. And I went through so many things with her that were wrong with me. And honestly, her face just collapsed and said, please. She didn't cry, but her eyes got really teared up. She said, please don't think that way. Don't think that way. Let's pray. The result of the test is not conclusive. You're gonna have a much that you're gonna go through that second test is gonna see exactly what's wrong with your body, because that test is like so these things go through your body. It shows every single thing, just go front, back. You see what I mean? You see when you see in your films, and then you go scan your body and you see your body in a machine, and it shows every single detail of it. That's the machine. I can't remember the name of the machine, but if you do, please comment down below. Because as I've said, I forget certain words, I forget certain terms. So if you're listening to me and you see what I mean, just comment down below. Which, by the way, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe, because as I said to you, I like to share my story with everybody, especially to those who've gone through the same problems I have, or who are next to somebody who's going through the same problem going through the same problem as I did as well. Which now I have. I'm still going through that problem right now. So I'm speaking fast again, aren't I? I am. So I cried, and for those actually, the appointment wasn't the following day. It was not. I think it was 3 days later, because that machine was fully booked. So I stayed on the third day in the evening again. I went back to the hospital. I was nervous as anything. I was made to wear. Was I completely? Yeah, they made me go completely naked. This room had this aerospace feeling about it. Completely empty. Only had this machine, and you could see that I was absolutely going through some serious business, because not only the doctor and nurse left the room, because usually when they leave the room, they just stay behind the door. No, this one, they had to completely leave the room and go to a completely different one with this protective walls, protective glass, so nothing could reach them. That's how dangerous this machine is. Actually, no, they wouldn't. Oh no, they didn't even go to the one that had a glass, no, protected glass. No, they had to go completely different room altogether, because so much so, just putting their equipment outside the room where I was, where the machine wasn't sufficient to protect them. So they had to go to a completely different room where they could monitor the machine, how it was going through me, when they could start and stop, finish. So completely separate room. And I think I was there for about 45 minutes to an hour in this machine. So just so slowly, so slow, 45 minutes to an hour, because some of them just go at that speed. That one, 45 minutes to an hour. If anybody remembers the name of this machine, if anybody knows, please comment down below. Perhaps I'm saying 45 minutes to an hour, I'm BSing, but that's what I remember. Maybe. But honestly, I remember this machine was a lot long. I had to lay there much longer time, much considerably longer time than the other machines. Yeah, so much so that I nearly fell asleep. But I couldn't feel asleep. But I didn't fall asleep because I was feeling nervous. Because at the end of the day, that was the test that it was going to give me the results, right? So yeah, so I got done with the test. Went home. The results took about 24 hours to come through. Went to pick them up the following day. Obviously, I couldn't even bother. Didn't even open the envelope because what was the point? I thought myself, no, keep the envelope shut and go through the results with the neurologist tomorrow. There is no point opening this evening. I told myself, you stressed enough. Maybe I was going to read something good. I don't know. But I thought myself, maybe I was going to read something good, so perhaps I'll sleep better. But I thought, no, don't put any more amount of stress on yourself, because what is there is there. I can't change it. And to be honest, I've always been extremely good with such decisions or such a worries in my mind. It's like, what's done is done. There's nothing I can change about it. And I'm saying this at the same time as inside I just shrinking more and more inside, because like I said initially, I had the stroke, then I had the aneurysm, I had everything, etc. No, I had an aneurysm. I got diagnosed with having an aneurysm. So I had so many stresses going through my mind, and a person can only be so strong. And but normally, I just accept what's given to me, what's done to me, what's happening to me, or what's happened to me, because I cannot change the past. I can only face the present and the future. So that's the decision I made at the time, and I told myself, don't open the envelope, because probably you won't understand any of the terms there. You're just gonna get confused even further, and perhaps I could misread them, for good or for bad. I could have misread them to say, oh, you're amazing, no need to worry about him. So I'll go, yes, I don't have this. Or I could have misread them, say, this is bad, this is worse than you believed it was. And then, I don't know. So yeah, I didn't open the envelope, kept it sealed. And then in the morning, I went to have the appointment with my neurologist. Yes. I won't tell you right now. Sorry. Yeah, I won't tell you right now. Because that's going to be that's going to be told in part 5 of the story of my stroke. Not my stroke. It's not. I don't keep it anywhere in my heart. It's not my stroke. It's the story of the stroke that I suffered. Yeah, that I had. Yeah. Well, gonna have to wait another week. So, as I said, no. Yeah. Anyway, apologies for the fact that I didn't record a video yesterday. I just said I didn't wake up. I wasn't in the mood for it at all, and I kept thinking all day that perhaps I should record this video, but I thought, what's the point of forcing myself? I won't be speaking with the same enthusiasm. You're noticing my face, and you know, I just wasn't it. Yesterday just was not it. So apologies, and I'm sure there'll be some other days like yesterday, but I keep persisting. This morning I thought, when I'm gonna record, I need to record yesterday's video, but I really didn't feel like it again today. But I said no, I gave you a break to yesterday, not today. No. Today you're gonna have to get up. That's the first thing you're gonna do this morning, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's the best thing that I did. And I think I'm gonna start recording the videos first thing in the morning, because it's really been working out for me lately. If you've noticed, I was recording in the morning before I start my day, because as the day goes through, I feel less likely to do it, because that takes an hour of my day just recording, and then another hour and a half. Now lately, with this new way of uploading 4K, it takes up to 2 hours and a half. So yeah, and now think of the title, description, etc. It takes a long time. So I think no, I'm going to be uploading. I'm going to be recording today, and upload it, and that's done and dusted, right? Okay, so it's an hour and 6 minutes now. I think it's a good time for me to end. So, as I always say, have a lovely morning, evening, afternoon, breakfast, dinner, lunch, tea, or coffee, whatever you guys are doing. I hope you have a lovely day. As I always say, go out for that walk every day. Obviously, if it's raining and windy and the weather is awful, don't do that. Even though sometimes when the weather is awful, I still go just for 10 minutes walk. It makes such a difference, because, and when I walk, I was gonna say something about the speed that you walk. It doesn't really matter. Just go for that walk. Number one rule, number one advice for me. Just go for that walk, and you'll see how much good that's going to do to your mental state, to your body, to everything about it. You appreciate the nature around you. You listen to the birds, even the cars. If you don't have any birds, you listen to the cars. You listen to some voices around you, especially if you live on your own. It's so good. Just go for a walk. A walk is the cheapest way to exercise, to get your body moving. You don't need to pay to go for a gym. You don't need to buy some machine. Just a walk. Like I said, start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and gradually increase it. Before you know, you'll be walking for 2.5 hours without even noticing. I'm not saying during the week, because we all have to work during the week, but you can do it weekends. During the week, you can just do 10-15 minutes walk. You know, you can do it before you go to work, if that's possible. After work, lunchtime, you can do that. I'm sure you can step away from your TV or YouTube, for example. You're listening to me right now. Perhaps you should stop this video and go for a walk. You know, be a lot more beneficial to you. And then, you know that light you've been searching for, where you've been saying, where's that light in my life? I can't see it. Slowly you'll start seeing that faint light at the end of the tunnel. And that light's going to get brighter and brighter and brighter for you. You know, it's not the end of the world. I hope not, anyway. Alright then, I hope I'm going to leave you in a good mood. If I don't leave you in a good mood, find that good mood, please. Find that good mood. Alright then, have a lovely day. Bye.